Building software now begins with a conversation. By describing an app in plain English, users can watch a functioning product manifest on their screen in seconds. The adoption of this workflow is widespread. Global spending on AI-assisted app generation recently reached $4.7 billion. Currently, 92% of developers use AI in their daily workflow, while a single platform like Lovable powers over 100,000 new projects every day. With 41% of all code written globally now generated by AI, the industry has moved into a new phase of production. Writing code by hand is no longer the primary way software enters the world. The mechanical hurdle between a plain English idea and a working prototype has effectively vanished. Yet, despite the speed and accessibility of these tools, most of these applications share a common trait. They have exactly 0 paying customers. This lack of traction isn't a technical failure. The AI-generated code functions as intended, and the applications themselves do not break under normal use. Vibe coding didn't create a new reason for software to fail. It simply removed the building bottleneck that used to hide a much older problem. To understand why these apps aren't selling, we have to look at historical startup data from CB Insights, which tracked the causes of failure for hundreds of companies long before the current AI boom. This chart shows the primary reason for startup collapse isn't technology. 42% failed because they built a product no one needed, with no one willing to pay. This 2019 figure persists through no-code, remaining the dominant threat for AI. AI has made the act of building a prototype almost free, but it has not addressed the leading cause of software death. Platforms like Bolt and Lovable are designed for maximum speed. They can generate a working prototype in 30 minutes, but their optimization is limited to the building phase. This focus on speed often leaves technical gaps, such as security vulnerabilities that require human oversight. This is why professional builders use a graduate workflow, starting with an AI prototype, then bringing in developers to harden the code before any real customer data is involved. A prototype is just one component of a software business. A viable business requires validation, evidence of intent to pay, and positioning, defining exactly who the product is for. It also requires marketing assets and a clear path to paying customers. Generating a prototype is merely the first step in a 5-part process. The hardest hurdles to a product's survival remain untouched by coding tools alone. The shift to AI-assisted building is significant, reducing traditional development costs of $15,000 to $100,000 by roughly 40 to 60%. However, cutting costs in the building phase does not ensure a product survives its first year, because the actual writing of code was never the primary obstacle. Success in this environment requires moving beyond standalone code editors towards integrated systems that handle the entire go-to-market process. This systematic approach begins by measuring demand before a single line of code is generated. Once confirmed, the system converts that data into blueprints and build prompts. Finally, it deploys a marketing system designed to capture those paying customers. Operating an integrated system provides the business infrastructure that a standalone coding tool was not designed to create. To test an idea using this type of end-to-end framework, you can access the free live workshop and validation trial linked in the description. Before committing resources to a build, it is necessary to gather hard evidence that people are ready to pay for the solution. A functioning URL is not a business. In an era of effortless building, demand is the metric that dictates whether a product survives.